Mickey. Up, Mickey. Up, Mickey. Okay. Time to get up and go to work. Good morning, everybody. Phil here. I would like you to hop aboard my time machine, if you would, because we're going to take a journey back into June of 1953, and we're going to have an early morning streetcar ride. So rub your eyes, grab a cup of coffee, and hop into my time machine. And here we go. July 1953. I've been assigned a morning tripper, which turned into more than a tripper, by the way. And we're going to be on the Chicago, Penn, and Fremont line doing a morning rush hour piece. So my report time is 5:12 a.m. I'm going to do a 5:30 pullout. So come on, here we go. North Side Station. This is the run markup board. These panels show all of the runs, trippers, stubs, and charters for the weekdays and the weekends. There are several panels that cover all of the work here at Northside Station. These guys have already copied their work, or they're just arrived early and waiting to get started. When we're ready to leave, we go out to the garage from the driver's room, or the shop, I should say, and in the shop is the car markup board. You will see that each piece of work is identified by the time out. So our time out is 5:32, and we have car number 1731, and we can't see what track we're on because the lady is in the way. These ladies were hired during World War II as operators to cover the shortage of men who went off to war. Here we are pulling out of Northside Station. You'll notice buses in the background. Two of the streetcar lines out of Northside have now been changed over to buses, and so the streetcars and buses are sharing Northside Station here in 1953. You'll notice I got to talking to my friend who's riding with me today and forgot to change the sign before I pull out. So here I have stopped halfway in the station and halfway on the street. I got to run up, change this sign now to Chicago, Penn 42. By the way, all three photos are used by permission. We have our car ready to go, and we're ready to pull out now at 5:32 a.m. We're going to pull out of Northside Garage, and as you can see, we're on the Chicago, Penn, and Fremont line. This schedule was effective July 21st, 1951. This is the middle of July 1953, and this is the last few months of electric streetcar operation on the Chicago, Penn, and Fremont line. Pulling out of Northside Garage at 5:32 a.m. This column contains notes. These notes indicate our route to our first terminal. So we're going to be at 42nd and Thomas in North Minneapolis, leaving at 5:43 a.m. They give us 11 minutes to get here, so we need to hustle it. So we're going to cross Broadway from Northside Station. Headed south now, at 5:45 we should be at Dowling. At 5:51 we should leave Broadway and Fremont. At 6:01 a.m. we should be leaving 8th and Hennepin. We'll probably be a little bit late. This happens to be a day where many people are riding a streetcar, an unusually heavy day today. So now at 8th Street in Hennepin, we should be leaving there at 6:01, but we'll probably be 3-4 minutes late. But we have plenty of time to get out to Lake Street. And we'll leave Lake Street southbound at 6:15 a.m. And we'll get to 61st and Portland to leave at 6:30 a.m. Now, going back here, we know when we pull out that we're going to 42nd and Thomas, so we set our signs leaving the garage, Chicago, Penn, 42. At 5:43, before we leave 42nd and Thomas, remember to change your sign for your destination point, which is 61st and Portland. So at 5:43 a.m., we change our signs to read Chicago, 61, Portland. Heading south, we leave 61st and Portland at 6:30 a.m. Lake Street is a big transfer point, and so we'll probably be there about 6:58. Maybe 6:59, maybe 7 o'clock. We may be running a little late. There's plenty of service on the Lake Street line, so nobody's going to miss their car. Okay, we're due downtown at 7:15 a.m. on 7th and Hennepin. 7th and 8th Street, by the way, are one-ways. We'll probably be about 5-6 minutes late here, so we'll probably get out of 7th and Hennepin downtown around maybe 6:20, 6:21, 22. And we're headed now to Broadway and Fremont and then to 42nd and Oliver. So 42nd and Oliver this time is our north end. Remember, our first one was 42nd and Thomas on the Penn branch. Now we're at 42nd and Oliver on the Fremont branch. So back here at 61st and Portland, 6:30, we set our 6:30 sign, Chicago, Fremont, Oliver. Fremont is abbreviated on the car signs. I have it here just exactly as it shows. Okay. We're leaving downtown late, but it doesn't matter. Our north trip, there's not much traffic. People aren't riding out into the neighborhoods. They're riding in from the neighborhood. So we have plenty of time to make up being late, and we'll leave 42nd and Oliver on time, 7:58. And we're headed south again and downtown, back downtown at 8:32 a.m. Now, from 42nd and Oliver, we find out that our south end terminal is 54th Street. So at 42nd and Oliver at 7:58, we set our signs Chicago to 54. Next, we travel through downtown, through the loop, get to Lake Street, get to 54th Street. At 54th and Chicago, there is a call box on a post, and there is a light, and the light this morning is illuminated, meaning pick up the receiver and the dispatcher will answer. It means that they probably want you to make another trip, or they want to assign you a charter or some other thing that came up that you're going to be offered the chance to work. So 54, I pick up, the dispatcher says, experiencing very heavy loads, can you go downtown and come back out to 54th Street and make another trip? And I say, oh geez, I haven't had breakfast. And then I stop whining and I say yes. All right, no, so now we left 54th in Chicago, where is it here? And we were expecting to go in, to pull in after that trip. So we had our sign set North Washington to 26, because that's what our trip sheet shows. Well now, since we're going to go back out to 54th Street, I'm going to change the sign. If car was to turn around downtown and head south again, the 8:50 a.m. sign would read Loop. meaning downtown. Downtown Minneapolis, downtown St. Paul, downtown Chicago, and maybe other places were called loops. That term loop came from the fact that streetcars turned around downtown. Before streetcars ran from one end to the other, called thru routing, all the streetcars ended up downtown and turned around and went back south, north, east, west, wherever. Now with thru route, so that sign now I changed to loop. Now I make another trip downtown this way. And so since I've come back south now, these people who usually ride the streetcar North Washington to 26 because they work on Washington Avenue North, they will get off the streetcar at 7th and Hennepin and take a Robbinsdale bus, which runs up Broadway. Okay, so I've turned around downtown and I'm back to 54th Street, and I don't list those times because they're not on this piece of run. I get to 54th Street, get the car wide, get ready to turn onto the main line, and I pull the car up close to the corner, or I get off the car and look south on Chicago Avenue, and I see two streetcars coming, and both of them are jam-packed. So that's why the dispatcher called me and asked me if I'd make an extra trip. So I let these two streetcars go by, and I pull out onto the main line behind them so that they can skip stop on their way downtown, and I'll pick up these passengers from 54th Street down to downtown. And then I will pull in. So the second time I leave 54th Street, my sign will read North Washington to 26. And that was our morning. So we'll get in to Northside Station about 10:45, maybe 10:50, and that'll be our day with a little extra hour and a half added to the run. So thank you for riding with me on this beautiful June morning of 1953, the last few weeks of electric streetcars on the Chicago, Penn, and Fremont line.